can't see it on there, but it's another beautiful, dull, grey and overcast and wet morning here in Nottinghamshire. I'm in the need of some colour. Where can I go to find me a bit of colour? Well, it's actually stopped raining now. I've arrived at Retford Cemetery, and this is the old part of the cemetery. It's a place that I've featured before a number of times on this channel, and I love coming to it. It's very atmospheric here, and these old gravestones are great for turning up invertebrates, a range of invertebrates, even on cool, cloudy and wet days such as today. Today is no exception. They've been cutting a few bits and bobs down by the looks of it here. In fact, only a quarter of an hour ago they turned the chainsaws off, cutting a few of the older conifers down. Disappointingly, there's still plenty here, but when you've travelled a good distance to go to a site, you expect trains. That's the latest one going down to London, but chainsaws I don't expect, and I don't like to hear the sound of chainsaws. But while it's peaceful, I can talk a little bit, and I've come here for some colour. And colour amongst all the grey of the gravestones I found a whole range of invertebrates too, from shield bugs through to ladybirds. And it's ladybirds that I've come here because ladybirds can put colour into your day. And I've come here to survey for ladybirds. This is one of the regular places that I do like to come and count ladybirds. The dominant species is 7-spot ladybird, Coccinella septempunctata. That's a wonderful name to chuck around the insides of your mouth and roll around your tongue. And I'm just approaching 300 septempunctata. Nearly tripped over it myself then. And that, say, there are groups of 7-spot ladybirds all over these graves. Some are covered in water from the rain that we've had overnight and this morning, but they do add a brilliant splash of colour. I know they're common and all that, and proper coleopterists aren't supposed to like ladybirds. I love ladybirds, and so do members of the public too. They're a great way of introducing people to beetles and insects or ladybirds because they're so easily accessible. Even more accessible somewhere like Retford Cemetery. But it's not just 7-spot ladybirds that I've seen. I'm on to about 18 or 19 harlequin ladybirds. There's been a couple of 14-spot ladybirds, which is one that you don't tend to find a great deal during the winter. They tend to go down into the leaf litter, but there's 2 in with a couple of clusters or groups of 7 spots. But there's also cream spot ladybirds, several of those. It's been a great day. Even a 16-spot ladybird, which is new for this area. So I've had a brilliant time so far counting ladybirds. Simple enough pleasure, but that's what life should be full of, simple pleasures. And I'm going to carry on with my little simple pleasure now, which doesn't sound the best of terms when you stood in a graveyard, does it? But it really has been a joy today. Set off in the rain. Rather cool day again, but milder weather is coming. And it may have been milder weather a few days ago that has prompted movements amongst the ladybird population here at Retford Cemetery. There are group after group after group of ladybirds on these old gravestones here. They really do add a splash of colour. They look great, clumped together under some little recess or tucked away somewhere on these old gravestones. It's not just ladybirds too, there's a range of Cycadae moths. All in all, there's a lot if you look. And there's a lot of these too here. But these are the leaf mines of Ectodemia herringello, which we last saw at Sutton-on-Trent. The infestation rate here at Retford Cemetery has increased likewise and to the same degree as at Sutton-on-Trent. This particular tree here, this holm oak, this evergreen oak, is covered. Lovely and quiet, apart from shooting over there and the occasional chainsaw, but fewer ladybirds for me to count in this particular area. This is the other side of the canal, and it's shadier, if anything, but there are a few ladybirds on these gravestones just along here. It's just so peaceful. Well, at least it would be if they weren't shooting. You think you could get a bit of peace and quiet in a cemetery? It seems not. And a bit of activity on this rather cool day. This particular individual has left a group of 7-spot ladybirds. There's another 5, and tucked in amongst that 5 there is what I'm presuming is a 10-spot, to which this one is going back towards. And here is that group of 7-spot ladybirds, to which the one that we've just been looking at that's wandering is now wandering away from. Obviously having second thoughts about rejoining these here, but tucked in amongst these 5 7-spots, you may be able to see one of the many colour forms of a 10-spot ladybird. 10 spots are so variable. There's a huge range of different colour forms away from the norm, and this is just one of those many. Always delightful to see though. Now, despite the coloration of this bug, this is one of the shield bugs. This is actually a green shield bug, which go this sort of dark olive brown colour to overwinter. This one, despite today's temperature, is actually sat openly on the side of one of the gravestones. Things are starting to happen, and the temperature is probably a degree or 2 up on what it was first thing this morning, but nice to see this. This will go the most beautiful bright green in a couple of months' time, but you wouldn't suspect this of being a green shield bug. It's just got its winter coat on. Absolutely all sorts on these gravestones, and this particular area here, just this corner, contains 7-spot, pine, harlequin ladybirds, Darlica triquitrella, Luffia lapidella, whole range of invertebrates. There's one thing I suppose that these older gravestones create with their inscriptions and the rough surfaces on some stones is a natural environment. It's almost like a rock face to which these ladybirds many years ago would have attached themselves to, and certainly the Psychidae moth larva that we have on here to the back here. Great places to just have a wander around, and I've enjoyed my wander. I love coming here, and it's nice to know when I come here in spring, sometime in the first few months, that we're well on the way now, especially as the sun comes out. Good grief. But we're well on the way to warmer temperatures, better days, lots of flowers. But we've had plenty of colour today. In the end, my total of 7-spot ladybirds is just under 340 individuals. Harlequins were on 18, and we've had about 4 cream-spot ladybirds, 2 14-spot ladybirds, and a 16-spot ladybird, and a couple of 10-spot ladybirds. I'm sure I've missed something out, but not only ladybirds and Psychidae larvae, but a few bugs too. There's always something of interest. So it's a nice day, nice quiet day as it is here now. The chainsaw has stopped, at least for now. The sun's trying to break through the cloud, and it's lovely. And it's encouraging a bit of movement from these individuals, some anyway. And movement is something I've got to do because I'm getting hungry. I'm thirsty. But when I get home, it will be a hot beverage rather than one with a head on it.